Hey, fans, Ron Stone here with Mike Idle. It's Tuesday night. Outlawed live. Mike, how's it going, buddy?
Good. I was worried for a second that you were going to be audio only. I know that we pay you for your voice, but sometimes it's good to see your face too. But it looks like you got your camera issues sorted out. Also, was afraid it was one of those vanishing tricks. Folks, don't send Ron Stone a Snapchat. He gets worrisome when he can't see the picture when it goes away. But you're here in the flesh. How we doing down there, my friend?
Doing good, doing good. Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulties here to get us started, but all good now. I try to get my background figured out here. But yeah, I don't know what was going on with the video. So looks like it's all good now. It was kind of in and out there. Yeah, you threw me off there. You never sent me a message on Snapchat. And I'm like, then I come back at you on Messenger and your messages had disappeared. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And then you reminded me, you sent me a message on Snapchat. Is that a new thing for you? Have you always been on Snap, Mike?
Yeah, I'm not on it like the younger kids are and whatnot. But yeah, I've got the Snapchat, but send it out from time to time. Now, me having Snapchat, nowhere as exciting for me as the picture of what I sent you on Snapchat. So I don't know, Ron. We might have some crazy plans out there. Alan Ulmer snapped me back immediately and said, "Is this a new light super stock ag that we're going to see out in 2026?" So I don't know. I haven't fully made up my mind what the plans are going to be, but yeah, I'm having a little fun with it.
Yeah. You sent, I think you would have some considerable work ahead of you. So tell us about it looks like you have an antique tractor there. You're going to start.
I purchased my first tractor, and it was just meant to be hooking up to the hay wagon and take the kids around and parades and stuff like that. But then it dawned on me, I have a tractor, and that means that, it can be hooked to a sled. I've got a 1949 Farmall H that I just purchased. And immediately my father and I sat down and started saying, what and how and where could we pull this thing? You said I'd have a lot of work cut out for me if I put it in the light super ag class. What I'm learning, Ron, is I've got a lot of work cut out for me to pull this thing in the 4,000 pound antique class. These H's come out factory with about 22 horsepower, and I've got to strip a lot of weight on it just to get it down to 4,000 pounds. And then we're going to have to go searching for horsepower somewhere. So right now it's cool to look at sitting in the yard, but Mike bought a tractor.
Your first tractor, I take it.
Well, this is my first me tractor. Of course, Dad was a farmer up until 1996 and then continued helping on the farm. And we had tractors at the house. But this is the first one where I've decided I'm going to park something out by the shed and, figure out what I'm going to do with it. If nothing else, I can tear into it a little bit, and it should be fun to examine things that I only ever get to hypothetically talk about. I can go out there with people in the pits and say, okay, I've at least put my hands on a piece of equipment. So I don't know. I had some time on my hands, and that was a dangerous combination on Facebook Marketplace.
Dominica, no, beforehand.
This was checking. Full disclosure. She is entirely up to date on the tractor purchase. There's no weekend surprises and late night shenanigans here. The tractor and the boat are both parked happily outside the shed right now. Say that again for me, Ron.
Light or anything
in and out.
What's that?
Your audio's got a big delay. It's kind of cutting in and out, so you're going to have to say that again.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my internet here. It might be a little sketchy, but I don't know what's going on there. But so no negotiations were done by moonlight over a case of Busch Light on the tractor. Is what you're saying?
If anything, it would have been Coors Light, but no, just straightforward. Honesty's the best policy. I was gonna tell her about the boat, Ron, as we've joked about before. I just hadn't had a chance to yet. But no, this was just a fun purchase, and I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe we can pull it. Maybe we can't pull it at all. It's whatever. It's gonna be fun. So we'll find out. It looks cool sitting in the yard.
Blake Spore watching from Inwood, Iowa. Like normal, we got some super fans out there like Cole Lundahl. watching from Wakefield, Nebraska. Mark Willis watching from Carrollton, Missouri. Tina and Eric Berger from Wilbur, Nebraska. Ben Beller from Howard, Kansas watching. Let's see. Ben Beller says, does the Missouri State Fair have an antique pull? I'm not 100% certain, but I would guess they probably do. Mike, you might know better than me.
Well, really where I got kind of exposed to it, so one of our new class sponsors for the 2026 season, Tyler Hall, over there in Callio, Missouri with Hall Seed and Chemical, is he's got an antique puller, and a lot of his buddies and some people that I work with and have gotten to know through that sponsorship, they actually asked me to do some announcing for them. So after the Outlaw season, I went with the MATPA, the Midwest or Mid-America Tractor Pullers Association, which is kind of an up-and-coming antique group. I don't know if they pull at the Missouri State Fair, but I've kind of been looking at what they've been doing. It's neat stuff. Is it thousands of horsepower and 36 mile an hour down the track? No, but pulling is still pretty cool. So I bet I could find a place to hook this to the sled, and I bet I've met some people who'd help me get there.
You will be hooking it to a sled. You've got pulling in your blood, but once you start that, it just goes up from there. So I hope Dominica understands that too.
So that was our next discussion. We were curious about if a person, and fans, you can chime in too, because I think fans get a kick out of this. If a person was to say, okay, I want to go national level pulling, I want to jump in with the Outlaws, what would you say is the most stepping stone or entry-friendly class? We were talking about the 3200 Superfield and the naturally aspirated two-wheel drive trucks. Of the two of those, where would you land? Or Ron, where would you go? Or do you think that just depends on if you prefer tractors or trucks? But both those kind of felt like we thought maybe we could see ourselves in that class in the next couple of decades.
Well, I would say 3200 Superfield if you want to blow smoke. If you want to make noise, then yeah, the modified NA, the naturally aspirated two-wheel drive class. As far as getting in with the Outlaws, yeah, those two classes, smoke or noise, those are the two.
And it's like every class we were talking about, because the modified two-wheel drive truck class is one that I spent a lot of time with this summer, and I think they put on a great show. And with anything, just because you want to call it an entry-level class, there are some people competing on the top of that class that are running that equipment at just cream of the crop, pushing it level. I mean, when you look at what Matt Phelps and Luke Renner and David Jeems and some of those guys are doing, like, you can max that class out big time in a hurry and get way up there. I hate to call it entry level or beginner, because there are some people doing some stuff in that class that's, it's pretty impressive what they're capable of doing.
I mean, when you jump on board with the Outlaws, you better bring your A game.
Yeah.
And yeah, it gets really competitive, even down in, the 3200 Superfield class in that say 540, that's cubic inch limit in the modified two-wheel drive class. So yeah, you better come with your A game. It gets very competitive, but as far as money spent, those are probably going to be your two most affordable classes to get started. Yeah.
Yeah, but all of them put on a great show. They're a lot of fun, but really you could see where a person could get it in their blood pretty easy, and you can understand the mindset of the pullers, because for a guy like me, I would have no bones about openly basically being a field filler for a while. Just, hey, I'm just happy to be here, and my goal is to make my piece of equipment, meet the rules and to make A to B hooks. And after you do that for 5 years and collect some paychecks, then you can see where they start building up on top of that. But it's fun. I think it's fun no matter how you look at it.
Some viewers here, I'm not sure if they've been on the show before, but Mike McCoy from Hamilton, Missouri watching tonight. Clayton Cartwright from Hartford, Wisconsin watching. And Andrew Sprock, he's a regular viewer of the show here, and a puller, a two-wheel drive puller. The Sprock Farms truck's going to be pulling with the Outlaws, chasing points this year. So pretty exciting stuff going on right now, Mike. And want to talk about that. We'll talk about sponsorship.
Yeah.
How important, how crucial that is to our sport. And we're going to bring on a guy tonight that is also a puller, and he is a new sponsor, signed a 3-year deal with us. He runs a company called Roadrunner Manufacturing. And Mike, you've heard of this guy. He's got 3 pickups
Yep.
out there, and it is Ford for this family. Got the daughter and the son involved. But Brad Skoll out of Levant, Kansas. Brad, how's it going tonight?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Hopefully you can hear us okay. I know I was having a little bit of technical difficulty, but
Sound good on my end.
all good. Are you still at the shop?
I am. Yep. Thought I'd get a little plug in there.
Nope, does not hurt at all. So tell us about Levant, man. We'll talk about your pulling here in a little bit. I think we're going to fill the show with you, if that's all right, because you have some pretty interesting stuff going on with your trucks too. So tell us about Roadrunner Manufacturing, how you got started here.
We got started building pod trailers, which are kind of a trailer for hauling trees. You dig them with a tree spade and you transplant them. My father-in-law's in the tree business, and we built some trailers for him. But that's a very, very small niche market. So we did that kind of part-time when we first started out, and then we started building combine trailers after that, and then spray trailers progressed after that, which is kind of very similar to a combine trailer. Now spray trailers, nurse trailers, and detachables is our primary market, as well as our profile system here that I got in the background. So we've been at it for about 26 years. So
years. Okay. I pulled a bunch of pictures here, but I put them in the wrong spot here, so I'm going to get that fixed here in a moment. But yeah, you've got quite the lineup here of trailers. When I was perusing your site here. So let's talk about growth of the company here. I mean, you said you started out pretty small. I mean, how big is your reach now? Are you pretty much nationwide?
yeah, we do. I think I've got stuff in probably 47 states, Canada, a couple of countries, Africa, the Ukraine. So,
Wow.
But the Midwest, I mean, the center of the U.S., Texas to North Dakota is kind of our, primary area that we do. Agriculture is our, kind of our main focus. So
you talk about, your market imprint is Texas to South Dakota, and a person can't help but kind of realize, well, that's outlaw country. I mean, that's just right in. I mean, literally, you draw a rubber band or a map. So kind of, is this just a natural fit? I mean, I know you've been pulling with the Outlaws. It seems like every year I talk to you, at least at Wisner, if not other places. How excited are you to be right here where it's right in where you're doing what you're doing?
Yeah, and I've just been really impressed at how the Outlaw organizations just ran. It's very professionally ran. I pulled with other organizations, and it's always nice to go to an Outlaw event because they're just managed so well.
Right. And I think too, with the footprint that this is going to help with your company as well, with you talking like being one who has a fairly large footprint and being, international and whatnot, to just take that and take some of the reach that the Outlaws have. It's always something that we're excited with sponsors to kind of give them that opportunity. And especially being a puller who understands that part of things is an exciting part as well. So, tell us about kind of like the company. How much has it grown, and how much do you anticipate it'll continue to grow taking this next step with sponsorship?
Well, growth is unlimited, I guess. But, when we first started out, we were in a 3,200 square foot facility. Now we've got about 70,000 square feet. So it's quite a little different than what it was back in the day. It used to be me doing pretty much everything. Now I don't do anything in the shop hardly anymore. I'm just in the office most of the time. So I still am involved in new projects all the time that we do. But the one thing we like to focus on is keeping as much manufacturing that we do in-house. So anything, we make our own suspension, our detachable trailers, we make our own I-beam for that. So we try to control as much of our own destiny as we can. So
Do you employ out there?
we got 17 guys right now, but we're down a little bit. Ag market's a little tough right now, but it'll always come around. So
do you see you're in the trailers now. Do you see it expanding into some other, trailer markets as well? Like I know that you got tank trailers, you got car trailers, do you see it? You have quite the lineup of trailers here. but do you see that expanding
Oh,
into
absolutely.
different?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd like to get into some other markets. We're always looking. Agriculture is kind of what I know though. So it's easy to produce that because that's what I grew up doing. So it's kind of an easier market for us. So it's harder to produce something for an industry you're not familiar with. So
How does a person go about obtaining one of your products? I mean, are you like a wholesaler? You're a manufacturer, but then do you have dealers, or are you kind of a direct to client? How do they get that behind something then if they want to pull it and work with it?
we've sold everything direct to customer since
Okay.
day one. So
What's their best way? Do you have a website? Do you want them calling you? What's the best way for new clients to get in contact with you?
the best way is just to call the office number. It's on our website. I think I gave all that to Ron. But yeah, just call the office. We got salespeople there that can help them out. So we like that direct customer because I don't want to sell a customer something that they don't need. So that way, we'll kind of feel them out, and that way they get the best product for their application.
Road Runner, and that's one N on runner.
It is.
MFG.com, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. So roadrunnermfg.com, the best way, and we'll put the phone number out there as well. So we're excited to bring you on board, Brad. And, we won't get through this show, and I'm kind of itching to talk about it, is some other stuff that you do that's not necessarily related to the trailer market or your business, but you build intake manifolds as well, correct?
I do build big block Ford. let's specify big block Ford intake manifolds. I don't deviate from that. Mainly it was a deal of necessity. We build them. So, and we have a couple of pullers that run them, in Outlaw, and then, across the country, they've been pretty popular. So,
The sheet metal intakes?
we do cast, and I'm dabbling in billet right now. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So is this an offspring market here? We're going to see skull out intake manifolds hit the market.
I wish I could. I wish I could do that full time, but I would be much skinnier than I am right now if that was my primary source of income.
Do you see this
business Go ahead, Mike.
Do you see these intake manifolds? Is this just, to help me out, who's not as mechanically inclined with you two? Is this going to be just in the pro street, pro stock, 4-wheel drive trucks? Or do you see this in other, the two-wheelers, or even up in the big modified or super modified divisions as well?
For what we do, we primarily designed our original one as a, because our class that I pull in, it's a single carburetor. Mm-hmm. And then some organizations do require a cast manifold. So that's why ours was cast. So that was our primary focus. But we have sold quite a few to drag racers and other stuff, mud guys that don't want the hassle of having to tune two carburetors. And they work really good in high RPM type applications. So, big horsepower NA stuff. So,
so racing, mud racing, things like that. If you're if you're a Ford guy,
if you're a Ford guy, yep.
So now your son drives the pro street truck, correct?
He did. We actually sold that truck over the winter, and we're in the process of building a new one. Probably won't be done for this season, but it went to live in Missouri. So
Pro Street is kind of making a little bit of a comeback over in Missouri.
Yeah.
So you're in the process of building a new truck. Is it going to be pro stock?
It will be a pro stock truck. Yep.
Okay, so 3 pro stock pickups. That's a lot of. That takes a lot of time and due diligence to keep 3 trucks on the track there, Brad.
It seems like a good idea until you start doing it, and then you kind of wonder what the heck you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, one vehicle is quite a bit, but man, to get the handle on 3, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, the maintenance is pretty rough on 3. I can tell you that. The only nice thing is, the one thing most people who aren't around pulling don't understand is the knowledge that it takes to do well at this. And I'm very, limited in my knowledge because it just takes experience to get familiar with, what a track's going to want. Pretty much every other motorsport, you get practice at what you're doing.
Right.
This you do not. It is a one and done. And man, you got to be on your game all the time. So the only nice thing about having multiple trucks in one class is since they're similar, you technically get, we get multiple hits at the same track. Problem is the track can change, we have usually a pretty big field in our class, so it can change, but it does give us a little bit of an insight for the guys that are further down the line or the order. So
your business, and you're into truck pulling, that you haven't actually built a practice sled out there in Levant, Kansas to play with.
no, not yet.
Not yet.
We've hooked stuff to about anything you can imagine, though. But I'll tell you what, there's not anything that will replicate what a sled does. So we've tried stuff, and you think you got something sorted out, and you hook it to a sled, and it's nothing like you thought. So
How long have you been pulling now?
maybe 7 or 8 years. So
7 years. Okay. And your stuff runs good, looks good. So I know you're on top of it. Man, I just don't envy you with 3 trucks like that. But so let's go back to the trailer business, so Roadrunner Manufacturing. Do you do custom work for people as well? Like if somebody needs something really strange or different or specific?
We will, as long as people understand. Custom usually means there's a price tag involved with that. But we'll do about anything. We've got into some pretty fun projects over the years. But yeah, we almost won't say no to anything as long as the customer's willing to do it. So
at the risk of you telling the whole internet and then getting a bunch of calls on something crazy and obscure, what are some of the more unique projects, or what's something that stands out in your mind as, well, that was a custom thing I never thought I'd build, but we did this for such and such guy?
It's hard to say. Probably some of the stuff that, there was a wind farm that went up south of us, and I don't know, those things all, I don't want to get into my politics on wind farms, but they all came here. Well, they're all missing parts, and they're all come from overseas. Well, we ended up having to, kind of reverse engineer some parts for them and make parts for them. So that's something that's a market that I never thought I would have made anything for. So, but we have a pretty well equipped facility, and I don't know if anybody knows where Levant, Kansas is, but there's not much out here. But our facility is pretty state of the art for anywhere in the nation, let alone where we're located. So
Colorado there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. How far are you from Colorado?
We're 45 miles from Colorado.
Okay, so you are way out there then.
Yeah. Yep.
You're out past Waukene and all that, right?
Yep. Yeah, most people, if they've been out here, they know where Colby's at, because if they've ever been out here in the wintertime, I-70 runs right along us here, and if it's ever snowing, it gets closed a lot because the wind blows all the time out here. So Colby's got more motels than anybody, so a lot of people have stayed in Colby because of a blizzard. So
yeah, when you get out there in certain places, get out there in western Kansas, when you start kind of like going up towards South Dakota, western Kansas about the same way. You start seeing the big gates that won't even let you get on the highway. It's like, they get some snow out there. So.
Yeah.
So what are some of your closer pulls? I mean, if you're clear out there in western Kansas, I mean, I know that the Outlaws are still, quote unquote, the Western Association, but you're still a good jaunt to, getting over there on the I-29 corridor. How many pulls over here in the, Missouri River area do you get to, and what are some of your core ones you try to get to every year?
Well, Ravenna is probably one of the closer ones to me.
Yep.
I really like it. I know a lot of the pullers, that's a pretty good haul for them. But Wisner's probably got to be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I really like McLaughlin there. They got their track crew's excellent there. But most all my pulling's done in either eastern Kansas, eastern Nebraska, Iowa, or Missouri.
Right.
Some pictures here, Brad. Not sure if you could see them there.
Yep.
Some of your products. This is off your website. So if you want to, just tell us kind of what we're looking at here as I'm bringing them up.
Okay, that's our double tank trailer. We call it a Model 6500. That's like a nurse trailer for a self-propelled sprayer. So that's going to hold 6,500 to 7,500 gallons of water. And then the middle deck, you're going to be able to put your chemical on there, and then oftentimes it'll be coupled with this system that I have behind me for mixing chemical to your sprayer.
Okay.
Our detachable trailer that we do actually came about because combines have just gotten so big. We used to do a combine trailer. That market's not real good because combines are just so big anymore. It's really hard to haul them on a small trailer. So that's when we developed our detachable neck trailer, and then it's a multi-use trailer then. So it works good for heavy equipment as well as, combines, sprayers, choppers. That's a pretty good market for us. Cotton pickers. We kind of do a special trailer for them because cotton picker's quite a machine. If you've ever seen a cotton picker baler, they weigh 70,000 pounds. They sit on the ground. They're about 15 feet tall and 17 feet wide. And moving them is kind of an ordeal. And we have a special detach that's got some pockets in it so they can sit real low in them. And that they move them. That's
the Neves family. They're cotton pickers down there in Texas.
Yep.
Well, I'm sitting here doing the math. So you said that one of those weighs 70,000 pounds. Ron, what's a pulling sled? I mean, when we've got one of our pulling sled operators going down the highway with all the weights in it and everything, doesn't that thing max out at 64,000? It's less than 70, isn't it?
Itself, the bear sled is about 35,000. I've heard as low as 27,000. But loaded up, they can get up to about 50, 50 plus. But I think going down the road, 80,000 is max, right? Unless it's a special permit.
That's crazy that these pieces of equipment, I wouldn't have realized that are actually more than a fully loaded pulling sled at some point. So, and they're flirting with that max, with the permit to go down the road. So that would take something special to transport them from spot to spot.
Yeah. So when you move a cotton picker, it's generally a pilot car in front and rear, at least. Sometimes you'll have to have two pilot cars in the front. But you're going to gross, the picker weighs 70,000, but they're going to gross probably somewhere around 130 to 140,000.
Wow.
And the thing is,
comes in every week there, Brad. He said actually owns a Roadrunner detach.
Cool.
Ben Beller out of Howard, Kansas, tunes in every Tuesday night. Big time Outlaw fan there. So very cool. So what is the trailer we're looking at here, Brad?
That's our model 2000 gooseneck trailer. So that's going to be for a little smaller operation, 2,000 gallon tank, something you can still pull behind a 110 pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And show this one already.
Yeah, that's our model 4000. That's going to be, you'll be able to, that's kind of a one-man show there. So the guy can pull his sprayer up on the back of that, and then he can take that directly to the field and then nurse himself off of there. So, guys that don't have any help, they can haul their sprayer and haul some water and chemical with them to the field. Anything with spraying, though, you're always water limited. So you can never have enough water in the field.
Detach here.
That's our combine trailer. We call that a Model 9000. That's the one that's machines have kind of outgrown that trailer there. So we still do a few. Custom harvesters are a pretty efficient group of people. That trailer there was really designed so you could pull like either a small hopper trailer behind it or the header behind it, because when they move from town to town, they want to make as few trips as possible. So they'll load their combine up on there and pull their header behind them or pull a small hopper behind them. But the combines have just gotten so big that that's becoming less and less an option. So
the best way to get a hold of you, if somebody wants to order a trailer, is that to go to the website or just to call you directly?
Yeah, just call the office there, that 785-586-2228.
785-586-2228.
Yep.
Well, Brad, did we miss anything tonight? I want to make sure we get everything in here.
I'm sure we did, but
any other, I mean, as far as the trailers go, I noticed you had like aluminum wheels on some of them. Can you like special order different wheels? You have options.
Yeah. I always tell my people when they go by, you can always tell the price of corn, because when the price of corn's down, not very many trailers leave with aluminum wheels. When the price of corn's up, they all leave with aluminum wheels.
They want the bling when the price is up. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what are you planning on? What's your first pull you're planning to come? Is that going to be Ravenna?
That'll be Ravenna. Yep.
Okay. Well, 2 trucks are ready to go, right?
Well, hopefully they'll be ready. So
what's the timeline on? Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I'm just curious that, it seems like I see you at certain pulls throughout the summer. Will you be running kind of a hand-selected schedule, or do you kind of see a points chase at any point in your horizon?
No, I really want to go for the points. That's a pretty big commitment. To do that. So, I'll be gone. When you look at the schedule, for some of those, they're far enough away. You look at a couple of weeks that we're just going to be away. So I'm trying to get all that sorted out so I feel comfortable being gone like that. So,
right.
Yeah, it's definitely in the future. So
we look forward to seeing you at Ravenna, and we'll be in touch, Brad, here in the near future here. I know we've talking a lot today, and we've talked a lot up to this point, but we're going to be putting the name out there, Roadrunner Manufacturing. If you're looking for a trailer out there, a combine trailer, a tank trailer, go to Roadrunner, roadrunnermanufacturing.com, or call, what's the number, Brad?
785-586-2228.
2228. Roadrunner Manufacturing, new official sponsor of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pullers. Brad, welcome aboard, my friend.
Thank you. I enjoy it. So
thanks for coming on the show. We look forward to seeing you this summer.
Yep. Me too.
Thanks, Brad. Take care.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's awesome equipment. And if the trailers are anything like the pulling trucks that he runs all summer, they're top notch.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. I mean, in a sport where it's just as much about how it presents itself as it is how it performs, his pickups are some of the prettiest in a class full of beautiful stuff. But he's got one that's like a deep kind of red, almost maroon. And then I think he's got a blue one in there, just clean. And yeah, absolutely great stuff. And it's always fun. We see him out there at Wisner, and they had been bringing that pro street truck that they would run in the pro stock class. And it's no slouch even in that class. So it's going to be fun to watch that jump up a class and run all 3 of them in the pro stock class.
Brad's not one of those guys. He goes into something, he doesn't do it halfway.
Yeah.
He goes full bore and does it right. So, look forward to the partnership we've got going with Roadrunner Manufacturing, and pretty cool to see one of our super fans on here that already owns one of the products there from Roadrunner. So Ben Beller. Thanks for letting us know that. That's super cool.
And I want to touch on, talking about Brad and talking about Ben right there. Ron, we've talked a lot about these past couple of years, how excited we are to venture into Illinois. But I think another thing is our increasing footprint, or kind of our resurgence in the state of Kansas. And those people from Kansas, very proud, very big into pulling, and they kind of love having that bit they can latch onto. So you even see Ben, saying like, here's another manufacturer, another puller. You always hear these amazing things about McLouth and Mound City. So the state of Kansas, to kind of watch those guys rally behind their banner, it's exciting too, because I think there's some great stuff in the world of pulling out of that state as well.
Absolutely. You're talking about Illinois. Here we got Washington State inviting us to come to Washington State and pull. That's up there a little ways. We got some friends over on the West Coast that could probably help you out, but I don't know if we could make it that far just yet.
Farthest outlaw pull away from home you've ever announced? I'm not going to say take the Floridas and the Satsumas away. That was, so a regular season pull. You've announced in Colorado at one point the Outlaws were going as far east as Ohio. What would be the biggest trek that you've had, or what is our biggest trek? Texas, I guess, going down to Texas maybe.
Let's see. I guess it would be either, I haven't even looked at the mileage, but it might be Windsor, Colorado.
Yeah.
Or Lufkin, Texas. I'm not sure which one is further without looking at the map, but yeah, as far as outlaw sanctioned event, yeah, it would be one of those two.
We were kind of joking back at the farm show when the schedule was still more in its infancy. And we were kind of, you and I, giving each other the elbows, talking about, was there a pull in North Dakota? Was there a rumor of people in North Dakota that would have been interested? That would be a nice long jaunt to get up there into northern North Dakota to do some pulling.
Yeah, there's interest up there, but with the schedule we have right now, I like living on planet Earth. I think if I book something in North Dakota right now, I'm afraid I'd have some angry pullers coming after me, Mike. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. That one's getting a long ways out there. So Washington State, maybe not just yet for the 2026 schedule.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, we have some recommendations though, but you never say never.
Sure.
But we have some recommendations of folks over on the West Coast that can probably take care of them.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, really good group out there.
Chuck Cleveland checking in. He's a pro stock 4-wheel drive puller out of Iowa. Brad Skoll out in the family. So he also makes an awesome billet air cleaner base that will even fit a Chevy. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Fords are almost, I won't even say almost, they are a minority. That class really, it is dominant, with the Chevy, the Chevy power in there. That's almost the vast majority. I would say Fords make up 20% of the market, and the Mopar makes up, 1 or 2 here and there. But really, that's a Chevy class, it almost feels like.
Yeah, the Fords in the class are no slouches.
They're heavy.
You take the one truck out of the mix, and Ford is right there, Mike. So
I'm talking the overall numbers. It seems like the majority of that class. But if you think about who the Fords are, and if you just said, okay, you've got to go up against, Mike Compton, or you've got to go up against the Selmans or something like that, the Fords are pound for pound. They're going to be chasing you. They're going to be top 5 out every night.
You take the one dominant character out of the Puller Chevy, which if you take him out of there, the Fords are right there. The Selmans were right there and just barely got beat out by him. I think 2 or 3 seasons back, where they were very close. But the schedule this year is pretty challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty challenging. Now, if I remember correctly, we have 18 hooks per. It's 18 or 20 hooks per region, north and south, but you can still run them both. You get 3 drops in each. You still run both and win the whole darn thing. If you win both, then you be the overall champion. But pretty challenging. It shows the popularity of the class, too, that everybody wants that particular class, kind of like pro stock tractors. Everybody wants the pro stocks.
Well, and I think pro stock trucks, because there was a time as a fan in pulling, and I would put this a long time ago. It's long since been that, but you would hear the word pro stock and you'd be like, nah, we want super stock. Well, we can see the way that went with tractors. They're the kind of the preeminent class right now. Pro stock trucks, don't sleep on those fans. Those guys are putting on a show. I would say, just as far as competition on the track, equally as entertaining as modified 4-wheel drive trucks. And that's big coming from me, because mod 4-wheelers are my favorite class. But those pro stock 4-wheel drive trucks that the Outlaws have, it's a dynamite show. Absolute awesome every time. You're going to get 15 to 20 of them, and it's a gunfight every single time. You do have one guy who wins a lot, but he's not winning by 50 feet every single night. He's got 15 bullets he's got to dodge to get there every single time.
He's always scrambling and researching and trying to get one up on the competition there, whether it's horsepower, chassis, traction, what have you. There's our buddy Pool Party HQ checking in, Mike. And then Alan Wicklund, what led to the Iowa State Fair going to one day? You know what? I wasn't in those meetings. That was a Kyle, but I think it was something they were going to try this year, try to fill that grandstand completely up, add a couple more classes to a single day show and see how that turns out. It's kind of a challenge at the Iowa State Fair behind the scenes to get everything in there, pack them in there for one day, then get them out the same day and get all the others in there for the next day. And we pack them in there like sardines, literally. It's very close and tight. And it's not as easy as it sounds, getting everybody in there that tight and then getting them all out of there and the whole next day in there. So they're going to try it this year and see how it turns out. If the stands are completely full, not saying they haven't been full in the past, we've had really good crowds, but
yeah,
we don't want to see any empty seats here at all. We want to fill that thing up completely. So,
well, I think the logistics really are something. I wasn't aware of this. I went up and did day 2 of the Iowa State Fair this past year, and I was flabbergasted. I pull into Des Moines 3 hours before showtime, just feeling great, and got to the announcer's booth, just about in time for you to sing the national anthem. That is not an easy. I've always wondered about that, getting everybody in for 2 days and everybody back out on their way to Wisner. I wonder if the one day will be a little bit better logistically, because that show is huge. That fair is huge. And with that being downtown, kind of right that seems like the biggest 4-way stop in the state of Iowa is like where the state fairgrounds are. So it might be interesting to see if that doesn't just kind of make it a little easier for people to go from A to B and get to where they need to go.
You have a question for you, Mike.
He's always, every time he comes on here, he's got a different one on there. Hey, you've got your Infinity whiskey and your moonshine and your pool party, and I don't know, come out to Wisner, Nebraska and tell us how much fun you have at Wisner, and then give us a handle on that one, because that's the other big pull that same weekend you like to hang out. Maybe you should change it to, Wisner Party HQ or Outlaw Party or something. But no, and I got nothing for you, but it's always fun to see what you come up with.
You're speaking of Wisner there, Mike. That's a big event. Rock Valley's a big event. In the past, we've always thought, how cool would it be to get Wisner out of the shadow of Bowling Green? And think they're open to it now, potentially moving that date. What was a big bull could be, wow, it could be huge.
Yeah.
Not being on the same weekend as Bowling Green. Nobody wants to go against Bowling Green, but Wisner's done it every year, since they started this thing. But imagine how big that would be, not being on Bowling Green weekend.
Well, and you can even see some of the names, some of the things I noticed, like that go beyond our outlaw regulars. You see guys who love to come and experiment with us a little bit, but Wisner seems to have a big footprint in the state of Minnesota. It seems to have a big footprint in the state of Kansas. Pullers that come from those. Imagine if you looked at every puller in Minnesota and said, hey, you guys, you don't have to go to Bowling Green. You can come here. You grabbed everyone out of Kansas. We've seen Esden Lane pull at Wisner. We see the Kielmeyers, pull at Wisner regularly. We see the Haugs come to Wisner. We see Bobby Jones out of Illinois. I mean, that would be interesting. A lot of those guys, I think you could look at like a Schrammix coming out and saying if they still had their light super, they might have to make some adjustments with what they would want to hook with. But some of those like that are kind of in between, Nebraska and Ohio. I think you could draw a lot of heavy hitters. And then I've always said this, it seems like once pullers get a taste of the Outlaws, it's interesting how many times you kind of see them come back poking around the next year. So that could lead to some neat opportunities.
People, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Marty Samuelson, will Nebraska ever pull the Outlaw? I think he's talking about the Nebraska State Fair. Nebraska State Fair, it's a bush pull right now. I am unsure. what they have planned there, but I think they're content with Nebraska Bush right now. So, never say never, but you never know. We might be back in there again.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Make sure I didn't miss any comments here. Like a lot of people checking in. Let's see. Hold on. If Bowling Green and Wisner got off the same week, we'd be looking at another Rock Valley 2020 type pool.
That's a good. I think that's a really astute. Yeah, I think you'd see the Slovaks and the Holmans and people that you still see. That's kind of my point. People who came to Rock Valley in 2020. They've circled back from time to time, at a Rock Valley. You've seen your Wayne Sullivans and your Jim and Paul Holmans and people like that. So I think they get a taste of it and they kind of put that in their cap and say, let's go check that out again sometime.
Any other questions out there? Any burning questions in your mind, Mike? Anything that has been on your mind lately about the upcoming season?
I'm hitting a point right now, Ron. I was thinking about this the other day. Louisville is such a nice respite. And then even after that, you had your polls in Florida and even a couple others that were with some different associations. We saw some of our guys, with the Mac Trailer Winter Nationals and down in Hammond, Louisiana. I'm ready to go pulling, Ron. It's school year's about wrapped up. If my kids haven't learned what they're going to learn by April, I don't know what I'm going to do for you at this point. There's no pull going on for a while. I'm just ready for, June 5th in Norfolk to get here, June 5th or 6th. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm ready to go pulling. I think that this has the potential to be a huge season for all of pulling. Of course, we're very loyal and want to see the Outlaws continue to thrive, but so many things are happening and so many eyeballs are on this sport. It feels like we're on the cusp of turning that page, getting us back to the glory days. And I'm just ready for some green flags and tight chains, my friend.
Some good things that we haven't announced yet. And, we'll put a post out there very soon on this, as soon as I get all the details. But the Wager family, Lacey Wager down in Colbert, Oklahoma, with top-notch turf. Something he messaged me on last Friday, and he's up the ante a little bit for the pullers. An added bonus for the pullers, the winners each night. Now, this is each night, not overall. This is each night. He's bought 18 Golden Boy Henry rifles to give away. Yeah. For first place each night. He's going to engrave them with something about full pull on the turf to commemorate the pull. Then whatever class it will be, he's giving away 357 mag, 44, 30-30s, 45, 17 HMR, 22 mag, 35 millimeter. He doesn't want anybody that could possibly win 2 nights in a row to get the same rifle. So he wants them to go home with, if they win twice, they go home with 2 different firearms.
What would you be after? That's so much fun. I love this. Ron, I imagine you've probably shot a little bit. You're kind of familiar with some of these. I think that 4440 or that 44 Mac 4440. I'm going home with a John Deere. Or that 30-30 would be kind of fun. Which would be your pick in there?
The HMR, maybe the 357. Yeah, super cool that he's doing.
I've got, right here. I won't put it on the internet, but I've got the 22 sitting right over here and exactly what we're talking about. And it's a fun little Sunday shoot around piece. So that's way cool that he's doing that.
So we get more information on that in the upcoming weeks. You're going to try to get him back on the show again too. He's always coming up with something new for this pull. He doesn't do anything half-assed, Mike. He's top notch on everything. So
and if he's going to put his name on it, he wants to be the kind of the winner. If they gave a promoter of the year or a first new pull of the year award for any association, he's the kind of guy you can tell he'd want to have his hat in the ring for that. It's going to be a neat deal the way that whole show is coming together down there.
Guys, Perch Claw drinks to sponsor Outlawed. It's a nice. I haven't even heard of that. Have you heard of that, Mike?
He's talking about like the White Claws.
Oh, White Claw. Okay, I was thinking energy drink or something.
The White Claws, the Outlaw, the White Claw.
Richard Pickler checking in from. Is that Mondovi, Wisconsin?
Mondovi.
Mondovi. There you go.
Mondovi, is that it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Mondovi, maybe. Yep.
So, if you've been watching Facebook, you probably noticed we started posting some of these. The Holganics
Yep.
schedule. Let's see. Let me put that up there differently, Mike. I don't know why this is befuddling me tonight, but let's see. We'll present it here. So far we've posted modified tractors, modified four-wheel drive trucks, and pro stock tractor schedule for the Holganics.
I was looking
Summer
at the
sweep.
mod four-wheel drive Holganic sweep for the summer, and what's interesting about it, and to kind of chew on a little bit, a very much late in the season schedule. I mean, it seems like a lot of the pulls that they're going to hit on their Holganic sweep are going to come in almost, really after Wisner, where the mod four-wheelers anyway, which was the one I saw today, and they had several on there that were like Wisner, Diagonal, Buckner, Unionville, late season hitters. So now here with the modifieds, looks like a really nice balance, just kind of glancing at it right here.
18 hooks total for the class, and this will mirror the two-wheel drive schedule. And I'm not trying to give away anything too early here, but the two-wheel drive, super modified two-wheel drive schedule will mirror the modified tractor schedule here. But yeah, starting off in Ravenna, early June, second weekend of June, ending in middle October in Lufkin. 15 total hooks out of the 18 National Series schedule hooks. And of course, we have 5 hooks on a separate series that 4 out of the 5 of those are in Illinois and 1 in Missouri. Yeah, pretty nice little schedule here. More money coming from Holganics this year. They're up in the ante each year in this sweep. So I think it's $126,000 going towards this sweep this year. Last year it was 80. Year before that it was 50. So it just keeps getting sweeter each year here with the Holganic Summer Sweep.
Will, on the points format with this, will this continue to be at the 2-day hooks and average points finish for each of those as it has been in the past?
I think we went away from the average hook finish, going back
we're
to a more
going to
standard.
run kind of a heads up. So this is really, even though there's 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, you count the dates, you don't count the locations, basically.
So yeah, it's 15 total hooks there. There'll be no averages now on this. The average, when we tried to put that in with the app, and the app doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we want to eventually be able to put these on the app as a separate series, so pullers can keep track of it.
It's also a whale of a booger when you're at somewhere like a Wisner late in the season and you're trying to figure your average for the Thunderbolt, and you also have some classes that are wrapping up their Holganic sweep, and you have to find their average. So this is going to save on some of the calculator times up there where you know how it is, Ron, when you're trying to give those awards on the fly. So a heads up might be the easier way to find your calculations on that.
If I pull another one. Stock tractors. There we go. There's your pro stock tractor schedule. You'll see some similar locations there. Starting out in Ravenna, even though pro stocks are in Lufkin, that series will end in Buckner, Missouri on September 12th. So this series as well is at 15 hooks. Most of them are around 15 to 16, most of the series or classes, with the exception of Light Pro. Light Pro, right now we only have 10 hooks for the season. So right now all 10 of those hooks will be the Organic Summer Sweep for the Light Pro class. But and we do try to group a lot of these 2-day events in with the sweep. And of course, if Organics is going to look at this, they're going to want the events, and not saying exclusively, but they want these events to be supporting the product, supporting the Go Grow meetings, things like that. But there are some events that don't have Go Grow meetings. We haven't even talked about Organics. So Organics said, yeah, let's do it there. Like say Lufkin, Texas. You know, they like the idea and the fact that they do that for veterans charities and things like that. So that's why you see the modified tractors ending in Lufkin, Texas this year as part of the sweep.
Hmm.
And I'll grab one more here. I think we've only dropped 3 of these so far. It's yes. And modified.
Yeah.
4-wheel drive truck. See, this one doesn't start in Ravenna, starts in Mound City, Kansas.
Mound City, Missouri.
Mound City, Missouri. Yes. Thank you.
Which and the whole outlaw world, we're going to all have to train ourselves and be careful. We've got to be the only association. We go to Mound City twice this year, but 2 different Mound Cities, 2 different states. So you just know you're going to get a phone call or some confusion about that. But yeah, they'll start in Mound City, Mo, a pull yep. I'm very much looking forward to having on the outlaw schedule.
And for example, what I was just talking about, here you see the 4-wheel drives competing in Washington, Missouri. We don't have any kind of Go Grows or anything set up, folks there in Washington, but Organic said, hey, that's a 2-day hook, Washington, Missouri. We have a lot of business in Washington, put it on the sweep.
And I think that'll be fun to watch that point series develop, especially because almost half of that takes place in September. So you're going to get to Wisner where a lot of points races start kind of winding down, and you're just hitting the turning point for this modified 4-wheel drive truck Organic sweep class on the summer. So a lot of meaningful, kind of like playoff pulling going on in September for them.
Love what Organics is doing for the Outlaws and for pulling. Putting more money back in the pockets of the pullers and creating some hype, some excitement out there in the pulling world. And we could always use more of that. So some more comments here before we get out of here. Yep. Rich said we got it right. Mondovi was correct. And the Todd Bowles says, thanks everybody that bought or helped us sell product, and the money for the sweep came from your efforts. Thank you very much. And it helps, Todd, when it's a good product,
Yeah.
That's something Kurt always, he was always adamant about that. Don't bring, some half-assed product in here to sponsor us. He said, it's got to be a good product. It's got to stand on its own. So, and Organics does. I mean, people are skeptical, because people try to sell a lot of things to farmers, and you can't blame farmers for being skeptical. But once they try it, the proof's in the pudding. They always go all in, second and third year. So good product, great company, great people. Mm-hmm. So, and Mike, it's 7:59 already. Thanks, Brad Skolout, Roadrunner Manufacturing. Check them out at roadrunnermanufacturing.com, newest official sponsor of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pullers. And we're going to call it a night here. Mike, going to be on your own next week. I appreciate that.
Yep, no problem, Ron. You're off on another one of those where I'm here in Missouri shores, and you're going to take a vacation. I do give you a hard time, but you work your tail off, and you deserve a little getaway. So have fun on a vacation before things get wild here in the season, because it's a full-time job around the clock for you, and you go pulling long after I'm off the circuit in the year. So hope you have a great time, and we'll hold down the fort here. Where are you going? Are you going? I assume you're going somewhere warm and sandy. You're not going on one of these Alaskan way up north cruises or anything like that.
No, not really the style. Sunny, anywhere sunny and 75. Florida and the Bahamas.
That'll be a good time. Well, enjoy yourself.
Way too short. I promise.
We'll be talking pulling, and I'll hold it down here for you, because no, it really is, guys. It might look like we have a ton of fun, which we do, But behind the scenes, Ron is one of those. I'd hate to see how many phone calls you take in a day and how many you let me pencil. Do you write anything in pen or is everything pencil? Because it's always
little
a million
notes all
moving
over
parts.
the place, Mike. There's little notes everywhere. If I keep my notes together, but I text a lot too. Texting is
Just
helpful.
Don't Snapchat him.
No,
send a
don't
message on
confuse the heck out of me if you Snapchat me. If we didn't get your post or your comments up, I apologize. I think we got everybody. I was trying to review as I was talking. But thanks everybody for watching, all the super fans out there. And yeah, Mike, you're right. It's going to get super busy here in a couple of weeks. Be all hands on deck. So Mike, thank you for coming on and filling in next week. Thanks to all the fans out there. Thanks, Brad Skolout. Appreciate you. And we'll see you next Tuesday night on Outlawed Live.
Right side kind of hurt him there. He was fighting that white line all the way down. Here tonight, going to spot that sled here a little bit left of center. They've been kind of working this spot. And I would imagine try to drive it up, just like we saw Mr. Holsworth as he got an unbelievable hole shot. He got that sled moving really quick. That's what it's going to take. So that chicken down there, he's getting a little bit, he's getting wound up.
He's getting a little cocky, I think.
Yeah.
Pun intended there. Getting a little cocky. That chicken is talking about race and the other chicken. Kurt Van Beek, the owner of the Outlaws. I can't believe he's going to do it, but here we go. Cody Yark, Rich Hill, Missouri, gone.
Oh, man!
Pulls back on the throttle, coasts the sled past the Schaefer oil barrel.
Man, oh man, fans, let's give a nice round of applause. Your winner, your points champion, everything but the kitchen sink here tonight, Cody Yarrick.
373.78 at 34 miles per hour. The Cody Yarrick had gone. That is what we call a walk-off win, ladies and gentlemen. Last puller in the class wins the thing. Awesome. We'll give you the final rundown here in just a moment.